Welcome to another episode Out of the Blank Podcast. I'm here with Corey.
How's it going, man?
Corey, I'm tossing out my Bigfoot theory right off the back.
Bring it on.
So, people talk about Bigfoot as like you hear all these accounts, maybe from the Tibetan mountains or even in China and all these places in North America, where they have the same description of a giant mythical beast, but no proof. But they are kind of hidden along the same details with the same characteristics and same features. So I'm thinking he's interdimensional.
Interdimensional. Okay.
Such as all these places are heavily infused with Native American tribes that are using psychedelics. So maybe you have to be on psychedelics to see Bigfoot.
Ooh. You know what? Honestly, I think I'd be willing to try it. Um, I was gonna say maybe that's why he has that nomadic nature to him. He's just popping around.
I
He
just feel
doesn't need
like if he's a
material.
spirit guide, that would be Bigfoot, right? I mean, how many people tell like, I saw a deer in the woods or I saw a jackalope that showed me the inner light to myself? I'm like, it's fucking Bigfoot.
It
That's
probably is,
Bigfoot
which
is
makes
the
sense.
passage.
Because in Michigan, I actually looked it up as you brought it up. I was like, well, I got to find some Bigfoot facts, and and in Michigan, I guess for the 16th state for the most Bigfoot sightings.
What's the
But
first?
I didn't look that far. As soon as I looked at my state, I was like, all right, that's good. Because it ended up leading me down a rabbit hole where in Michigan, apparently, the first Bigfoot sighting was in 1950, but we've had Dogman. Have you ever heard of Dogman?
I have not.
So I guess that's the Michigan lore. That's like our Bigfoot. He's been seen hundreds of times since like 1887. And I guess it's just a giant wolf that walks on his hind legs and they think he's really smart.
Who who the fuck has seen this dog, man? That's like the one where it's like every book is a New York Times bestseller. You're like, get
Right?
the
It's
fuck
like, who's
out of
reading all these
here.
books? But yeah, I guess it's a Dogman here.
We have
And then
I think the closest to us, there's one called the Pope Licking Monster, which the name sounds more badass than what it is. It's like an off breed of the New Jersey Devil, but it's in PA. And it's like apparently it's the only cryptid with a death count. And I'm like, how does so it's the only one that's killed people? And they're like, well, it's not it itself that kills you. It's the way you have to get to its lair. And I'm like, where's its lair? It's on like a Stand By Me railroad track that's a mile on a bridge. So like you're on this bridge that goes a straight up mile.
okay.
People walk it, and apparently when a train comes, there's no way to go. Like you have to either jump off or you have to like hang from it. And the only person that survived was a dude that got his arm ripped off, but he was hanging on by one arm, and his girlfriend had died. And like I'm like, just stop searching for shit. Like
Right, wait. So was it the train that killed him then, or was it
it was the
the?
train,
Okay, so they were looking for it. What was it called again? I'm sorry.
the Pope licking monster.
The Pope licking
It
monster.
does not lick the Pope. I've looked that up too. I was like, why? Why?
Yeah.
How did it get its name? It's like, well, it's a cool name, and for cryptids, it's like Sharknado. I can just toss a bunch of things into the name of it, and it'll sound good.
It almost sounds like the thing that our parents did when we were kids. Like, yeah, go run in the woods and look for snipes. But
Oh,
just go
that's
look
a
for that.
dirty trick.
Here's this box. Here's this stick. Go have fun.
That's a dirty trick to keep your kids entertained for like an hour and a half. Like, go play in traffic, okay?
Right. Just dodge cars. It's fun.
Now, Corey, you host a podcast, so I want to be able to give you a chance to be able to promote and talk about what the podcast is a little bit.
Yeah, actually, thanks. So yeah, we have the podcast. It's called Four Guys at Once. It is not a porno,
Damn.
but it's funny that damn, it sounds like the one with the four black guys behind the couch. You see that meme all the time.
I didn't even think
It's
of
funny
that.
because when you look at our cover photo on our Facebook, I found this picture. I was looking up just four guys at once, and actually I wouldn't suggest it, and uh, not in images anyway. And so we found this picture of this one girl that was dating four guys, and all I did was just really shittily Photoshop a microphone over the girl. And there's just four guys standing around a microphone. And it's not even us. It's not even us in the photo. It's four random guys. But it's actually, yeah, it was fun to make. Um,
Where did the
but
name
yeah,
come up for? Like four guys at once. I know there's four of you, and it's got to be, I guess, a podcast at once. But like even the concept of it, like how many people are typing? That is great. That is okay. Never mind. I take back my question. That's amazing. People are going to type in four guys at once. There's going to be a specific niche audience for that for sure. I know people that look at feet. Um, But someone's going to type that in on Google, and then your podcast's going to come up and be like, oh my
Yep.
God, it's like an audio drama. And then they click it and they're like, well, this is nothing like I expected.
Yep, and we've actually thought about doubling down and uploading our live streams onto Pornhub instead of YouTube. What
How
do you think of
many?
that?
Then it would be weird because people would be touching themselves to your voices. But
Oh, I
honestly,
hope they would.
I've had that happen where it's like, wait a minute, I'm listening to a Joe Rogan podcast and I am also doing something else that I'm not supposed to be doing.
It's just on in the background, just ambient noise. But yeah, there's four of us. It's me, it's and my buddy Bell, my buddy Bert, and my cousin Michael. And it's a interracial, or no, a biracial, biweekly, and we all have suspicions of each other, bisexual podcast. To where, no, I'm just kidding about the last part. But yeah, there's four. Can you tell? I'm sorry to keep cutting myself off here. Can you tell I've been thinking of one-liners all day
I
before
was
this thing?
literally like, what the fuck episode is that one? Because I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, but no, it's a family affair. My buddy Bell is actually dating Bert's actually about to get married to Bert's sister, and then Michael's my cousin, and the four of us get together and we just talk about whatever. And
Start a cult.
that's
That's
actually a good idea.
they start with families. I'm telling you, it always starts in the family, and then you could do a Godfather style thing, like have people tied up in the basement and shit too. That'll get you some real views on Pornhub if you really want to spike the membership ratings
Some
up.
bondage.
Yeah.
Some bondage.
Why is
Four
that
guys
guy
at
wearing
once
a
take on
gimp
bondage.
mask with an apple in his mouth? It's like,
And why
oh,
is there three more guys standing there?
I just like to
They hit the
watch.
15-second button just to click ahead, just to see what's happening before they click off.
You could have like a thing where it's like donate and we'll do stuff to somebody over here.
Please, we need sponsors. We'll do anything.
You can call. I really question the people that like call in at this number at this time. I'm like, where are you putting that up? I mean, on Facebook, it seems like you would get maybe appropriate people to call in. But then if you type that in on Reddit, like, hey guys, we're going live, call in at this number, you're like, oh, you're going to come across a lot of people that are just going to be like, I'm Jake from State Farm. It's like, hold on a second, Jake from State Farm.
Are you wearing any pants? Uh, khakis.
Khakis.
No, but yeah, we actually did make a number, and it's just a WhatsApp number, whatever. But we're hoping for the weird because we'll absolutely play it on the air. Uh, it's funny because we it's a bunch of random numbers, and we were trying to figure out like what letters we could put to the numbers, but they gave us the shittiest number, man. It's oh wow, I can't even remember the number now, but I know the letters we made for it is DYK MOF0, which is I think the best we came up with was Dyke Mofo, but other than that, it's
Classic.
nothing.
You'd be
You
using it
know,
on your merch stores like a coupon code.
right? I got the idea actually from Macaulay Culkin. You ever listen to his podcast?
I have not, but I've seen him in Home Alone and loved every minute of it.
I know. Now the little guy has a podcast. His voice is way deeper than you'd expect.
I saw him on Joe Rogan. And I was like, wow, child stars really do not turn out well.
Right. He sounds like he's doing well though. He's actually sounds pretty down to earth. Like he's pretty funny too. But yeah, their phone number it spells out Easy E's a hoax. And he's like, well, obviously we know he doesn't exist. So, but
Wait
yeah,
a
the
minute,
four of
Eazy-E
us.
doesn't exist?
He said he never existed. He's a hoax.
What are you
I think
talking
it's. I hope it's a joke.
I'm about to say Eazy-E's real.
Yeah, he was real.
I saw Straight Outta Compton.
That was him acting in it too. Isn't that crazy? He didn't age at all.
Dude, I don't care what they say. That Ice Cube's kid looks exactly like Ice Cube. That was so spot on. I was like, did they CGI this at all? I'm like, no, they really have that pissed off, I'm happy look.
Yeah. Yep. He looks just like him. Just that scowl. Because if they did CGI, he'd end up looking like what was his name? General. Fuck, from the Star Wars. The one General Murdoch. Is it Murdoch? Or am I thinking of a completely different movie? Not Snoke. Anyways, sorry.
The A-Team with General Murdoch or Captain
Yeah,
Murdoch?
see, that's where I've heard that name, Murdoch. But no, there was a general in the old Star Wars that died since then, and he's on one of the big command ships. And they did CGI with him, and it didn't look that good. Not at all.
Lando?
No, not Lando. He
I
was a
haven't seen any of the new Star Wars. I saw The
oh
Mandalorian and I enjoyed every episode of it. And then he took his helmet off when he was hurt. And I was like, put your fucking helmet on.
okay. I have to stop you and agree with you because of the fact that it's like that was the whole thing. That's This is the
Well,
way.
he was
Like
so badass, and then he took it off, and it's like, oh my god! It's like you find out you're like amazing hero, where you're already trying to like, when you get a call from somebody and you're trying to see kind of in your mind what they would look like based on their voice. You did that with him, and you were picturing some like amazing looking like Ashton Kutcher or like a Ryan Reynolds type, and he pulls it off, and it's like fucking Ron Jeremy. It's like you're still happy he showed up to the game, but you're like, what's wrong with your mustache?
yeah, yep. Completely took it all the ambiance away. Just completely blew it. Is that a what you drinking there? Is that a Mountain Dew?
It is a Mountain Dew. They're
Nice,
not a
nice.
sponsor, so don't give them any damn credit.
I won't do that. But yeah, so I'm sorry we got completely off track, but I'm sure that's okay.
Welcome
Uh
to the podcast.
welcome. This is what Four Guys at Once is. Four Guys at Once at some points is like the debate between Trump and Biden. It's just
Dude,
every
I've talked so much. Look, let me tell you something. I'm not a big politics guy, but I saw that fucking Biden ad, and never in my life have I questioned reality where I was like, is this where we're living? Like, is this the movie Idiocracy where Terry Crews is our president? Because it literally said, Trump wants you to die from coronavirus. And I'm like, who's the fucking person that's listening to this? And he's like, that son of a bitch. I'm like,
Yep, God, I knew it. No, it's a race to the bottom, man. It's this two-party system.
oh my God.
This is what the lesser of two evils has led us to.
I've been getting hyped because people are like, go vote. And I knew people that were talking shit like not even a month and a half ago about America sucks and all this stuff. And now it's like, you got to vote. It's your right as an American citizen. I'm like, honestly, I'm not going to vote. And I'm not going to complain about whoever's president because I don't want to be the person that said I elected him in the office, and I don't want to have to say anything. I'm just going to sit and watch my games, watch my stories, play Dragon City on my phone, and I'm going to completely ignore the downfall of this country.
Just stock up on toilet paper and don't leave for a little while.
Oh God, dude! You don't look. I got into a podcast with a stockbroker about. I actually never even released the episode because it was like so. It was just so like questiony. It wasn't like free flow like I like. And after like 30 minutes, I was talking to him. I was like, so I bet the safest stock to buy into is probably toilet paper. This was 2 weeks before the virus went down. And he goes, what do you mean? I'm like, it probably never goes up and never goes down. I mean, everybody needs toilet paper, but it's never going outrageously like we need to buy it all. Then 2 weeks later, coronavirus hits and toilet paper gets bought up like crazy. And I'm like, well, shit, did I just predict the future? And then if you're really like, that's a joke. I don't obviously think I predicted the future. But
You might
then
have.
then I'm like, if there's a vaccine for coronavirus, I'm gonna wait 6 months. It's like I Am Legend, where everybody got it and they turned into zombies. Now they're coming out with 1/3 of the people that get the vaccine suffer severe neurological issues from it, and I'm like, yo, what can I? I'm gonna get it. Bob Barker's coming on my doorstep with a big ass check.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. It's like when you watch the like the Discovery Channel with the all the bison or all the buffalo hop in the river. The first one that goes always gets nabbed. He's fucked. Not even a chance. As soon as he jumps in that water, he's dead. And the last one gets nabbed too. You got to be right in the middle. Like there's a sweet spot you got to find. And I feel like the smart buffalo picked that. And based on our conversation so far, I think me and you are going to be hand in hand
Look,
with a nice little buffer around us. So
let me tell you something. I was listening to a podcast with a marine biologist, and I was always wondering why this school of fish would always, you see the giant school of fishes like movies that are always swarmed up, like hundreds of them. They're always like weaving in and out of each other, and like
yep.
it's a perfect formation. That's by luck. The reason why they're all huddled together like that is for survival, because the one on the inside is trying to survive in case a shark comes. They always pick off the ones at the ends and off to the side, so they're constantly rotating. So everybody's always fighting for the middle. People think they're super intelligent. I'm like, no, they're just trying to survive. It's like me when I go to the
Save
store.
their own ass. Yeah. Was that marine biologist by chance George Costanza?
I don't know. He's on a Joe Rogan podcast. So I quote a lot of Joe.
Oh, okay. No, George Costanza. You ever watch Seinfeld?
Is that? Oh, wait a minute. Is that the big guy from Jurassic Park, or am I getting that mixed up?
No, that's he plays.
I hate
what's his
Seinfeld.
name? Newman.
I hate him.
Oh, really?
Jerry Seinfeld is if he offered. He was like, "Hey, Rob, I'd love to do your podcast." I'm good.
Really? Not even for the clout.
You could take the beep out and just shove it up your ass.
What if he actually brought a slap bass guitar or a bass with them and said, "I'll even do the slap bass myself."
I'll beat him with it. There's got to be one famous person you would never want on your podcast. Come on.
Uh, that's a good question. I know there's a lot of political figures that I probably would never even want to give them any sort of attention. Uh, but I think maybe because the dynamic here is a little bit different, that like if we brought someone we didn't really like on here, it'd be real easy to just run them through the dirt for an hour. Just
You
like
feel like you'd be pretty powerful in Trump's hands?
every time we talk, I don't know, I can mute his mic. I could just mute him.
That's how you fix the debate. You just mute them.
Dude, like it was funny because I was telling my friends, and Biden actually kind of did it. I said the only way Biden will win that debate is if whenever Trump talks, he just goes, "This guy, come on," just makes this goes like really, and doesn't even talk, just scoffs at him the whole time.
While
But
someone's shooting like deca steroids into his traps to keep him alive. Good God, half the time I'm like, what did he just say?
chained to his podium so he doesn't wander off on the break.
Walks up with an IV, just like slowly feeding him nutrients. Somebody get him another bag.
Yeah, I can't believe 350 million Americans, and it's Trump and Biden. That's the best we got, man.
I'm telling you, I'm really afraid of what 2040 is going to look like with our next candidates.
Well, right now there's a lot of young people actually in like politics who seem to be like decent people that are coming up, and I'm not talking about like the people like the Squad and stuff like that, but like people like Tulsi Gabbard. There's like Dan Crenshaw on the other side.
But 20 years from now, what's that going to be like? Where it seems like we're eventually just voting on celebrities. Like eventually it's going to be like, I want to vote Kanye West. I want to vote this. I'm like, hang on a second. Can we understand that we're giving this power to a person who had a hit track at one point, now has gone batshit crazy and is involved in the Kardashian family? Can we find an actual intelligible person? Like I was watching old videos of Barack Obama during Halloween, and he was like, so like a people person. I'm like, that's what you need, is you just need a person to talk everybody down. When the pandemic happened, we had nobody to talk us down.
No leadership. And then he said, leave it up to the states. And when the states did it, he attacked the states.
Give the power to the guy that runs Wendy's Twitter, because that man has been spitting fire since I don't even
You're right.
know. I tweeted at Quiznos subs because they're gone in my city. They've been gone since I was like 15. I was like, where did you go? You left me with Subway, and I don't want to eat at a rapist shop. And they tweeted back at me like, we're still keeping it toasty. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect this to happen.
Because you're probably like the only one that tweeted him. The guy was sitting there like, whoa! Tweeted back real quick.
We got one!
Hey, we got one! He's the only one in the room. He just yelled it out of excitement. But yeah, so we got the four of us in the room for the podcast, and we basically exactly what we're doing now. We just bullshit about whatever. We get people to bring in a couple ideas. We typically do like a beer of the week. We'll find like a craft beer or something. We got a really good. Michigan has a great craft selection for beers.
Are you the type that like smells the glass? Like, I smell hints of tannins. I smell hints of leather. I'm like, hang on a second.
Is that yeah? Yep. I'm not drinking any beer right now though. I got some.
That's alcohol.
Yeah, I got some Buffalo Trace.
Oh, now you're really hitting with the Joe Rogan podcast.
Right? Is that what he drinks?
He shouts it out every 5 minutes. It's worse than the DMT stuff. Where I'm like, Jesus, like it's like I wish Oreos sponsored me like that, and I would be shouting out Oreos every 5 minutes.
Just cramming Oreos in your mouth while you're talking. I'm eating Oreos.
What are you trying to talk
Oreos? They're great. But yeah, no, I'm actually more of a Wild Turkey fan than the Buffalo Trace. It has more of like a caramel taste to it. This is a little bit more spicy.
My buddy's a whiskey aficionado, and he was giving me crap for Screwball peanut butter whiskey, where I'm not a big alcohol guy, but I had that and I was like, this is how you get kids addicted to drinking, because it tastes so much like candy. It's ridiculous.
It's like Goldschlager. It's got literal gold flakes in it. It's like the kids love it. Like candy cigarettes.
That was the one drink I was like, I can see where I could be an alcoholic. Like it's to my family. I was like, I could see it because honestly, this is something I would buy over and over again. I went to the liquor store. I was like, do you have any small bottles? He goes, no, it's just a $30 bottle. I'm like, that's a
All right.
lot, man. That's like 10 packs of gems on Dragon City. I can't do that.
Dude, I never played Dragon City. How is it?
It's honestly, I don't recommend ever trying it only because I don't think you'll ever be able to stop. I'm level like
Okay.
96 and I've been playing it for like 5 years now.
I fell into a Game of Thrones game like that, where it's like a pay to play and you build factions and you have
Oh my
squads
God.
and all that.
Thank God I never played or never even saw an episode of Game of Thrones because I know I'd get addicted.
That's a good show. I'd recommend it.
I got shit from the guy at GameStop. And everybody always talks trash on GameStop. Like, why does everyone feel like they're uncomfortable at GameStop? I'm like, first of all, they ask you about pre-orders, they ask you about emails. I went into GameStop and I bought 4 games, four for $20. You want to guess what games I bought?
Um, if it was four for $20, which system is it?
Xbox.
Like one or 360?
One, but
Or
they're
the
all
original?
backwards
Okay, one.
compatible.
Okay. Um, Geez, I couldn't even know. Are they greatest hits?
In my mind, they are.
I guess that's all that matters. Reality is perception, right? Or
I bought
perception.
4 fucking Lego games. And let me tell
Nice.
you something. This man judged me like I have never been judged in my entire life. He's like, hey, what you looking for? The new Assassin's Creed pre-order? I'm like, yeah, I'll get that when it comes out. Oh, you looking for a nice racing game, a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat? I'm like, nope, just these 4. Put it up on the table. He goes, Lego games. You buying them for your nephew? No, just buying them
Nope.
because I like playing them. I mean, they're fun games, man. He goes, you're buying Pirates, Lego Caribbean. You're buying Star Wars Lego, and then the second Star Wars Lego, then you're buying the Incredibles Lego. I'm like, you got a fucking problem, man?
You slam them down and be like, yo, like,
I've had a
seriously?
rough day.
I want to play with some Legos without making a mess and accidentally stepping on one later.
I want something where it's so simple that when I'm stoned and playing, I don't have to spend 3 hours on the first level trying to figure out where to move on to the next part of the level because I'm running
Yep.
around in the corners of the map figuring out why isn't it working? I think the game broke. It's like, no, it's the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, like like in the old N64 Zelda, like they don't give you any idea and then you have to like shoot one flame with an arrow to another one and you're sitting there for 30 minutes like what the fuck?
It's like if you play a game and then you're like, I'm gonna finish this later. Then you pick it up like a year later and you have no idea what the fuck you were doing. You're like,
Yep.
what was going on at the time I was playing this? It was like when I bought Spyro, when it got reignited and it came back. Yo, I was a little kid when I was playing Spyro when it first came out on PlayStation.
Hmm.
I used to get so upset I would have to take a nap because I was getting too hyped. You know, when you're a little kid and you're getting too angry at things?
Yeah, and you're just getting you make that sound.
So I bought this game thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do what I never did. I'm gonna beat the game because I couldn't do it when I was a kid. I beat the first level that I was stuck on as a little kid. I beat it in 5 minutes. I had to walk downstairs and be like, Mom, be honest with me. She's like, what? I'm like, was I mentally challenged as a kid? She goes, why would you say something like that? I was like, first of all, I explained the situation. She's like, Robbie, your mind has developed. You're a lot older now, so it's easier for you to play something like that where you might not have been able to figure it out before. I'm like, okay, thank you for talking me down. I was seriously like contemplating jumping off my roof right now. So I go upstairs. I beat the second level in 10 minutes. I open up the door. I go, you're a fucking liar.
You're lying to me, Mom.
It's like when you start, like I've heard people talk about, like, you ever realize like people, you might be mentally challenged and people are just acting like you're normal. I'm like, yo, in my dreams, I feel like I lucid dream a lot. Like, what's the craziest dream you've probably ever had?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Do you want to hear
Hmm.
mine while you're thinking?
I don't know. My dreams always seem like really like pragmatic sort of. Like the only thing that's crazy in my dreams I feel like is when I jump. Like no matter how high I am, I know that if I jump I won't get hurt when I fall. But I never fly. But I mean a lot of like zombie dreams, things like that. Like crazy ass dream. Oh, nope, I got one for you.
I'm questioning, have you ever tried to test the I don't get hurt when I jump theory? Like jump off the
In real
Grand
life?
Canyon?
No.
Oh.
Nope. I fell off a skateboard only going like 5 miles an hour and broke my elbow, and now I have 9 screws, a plate, and a rod. So I know falling hurts. Uh, But
I had that same story, but with a ripstick.
you broke your elbow?
I didn't
The
break my
radial
elbow.
head?
No, I got hurt
Oh,
really
oh.
bad though. I got a big scar and everything. But no, it was a ripstick. It's like one of those moments where you're getting the speed wobbles and you're just like, fuck it, tuck and roll, and then you jump. And I did
And you're
not
moving
do it
faster than
correctly.
you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, so I had this dream when I was a kid, and it was probably right after watching Jurassic Park because it was a dinosaur dream. And there was a dinosaur coming. It was like one of those ones that has like the big club tail. And me and my family were running, and we run into this room, and it was like a building front, like in a strip mall where it was all glass, so we weren't safe at all. And we're all standing in the glass watching this, and all of a sudden, my cat was in the sidewalk right in front of the window, and the this herbivore. Now that I'm older, I realize that is an herbivore type of Oh man, I'm blowing all up over here. It was a that dinosaur comes rolling up, and then eats my cat and then immediately looks at the window and then cough laughs and the cat splattered all over the window and then I woke up.
That does not sound like a fucking dream at all. It sounds like a damn nightmare.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a fine line I guess between dreams and nightmares, but
It's funny. Mine comes after a movie too. It comes after the Harry Potter. I guess I watched it and it just like hooked to me for some reason. It was the scene where like that the Ron Weasley's house is on fire and like so they all stand out in the lawn, they're all like fighting in battles and Harry runs off. Well, I was supposed to like run with Harry to go fight these people, but I was like, hold on a second, I can cast fucking spells. So then I'm off in the corner, like just casting spells on a tree and shit. And like I feel like I can hear everybody saying, where's Robbie? And they're like, look over, like he's fucking casting spells over there, like not helping us out at all. I'm losing everything I've ever loved, all my family memories in my house, and he's over there fucking doing a spelliamus on a damn tree. I'm like, this is so much fun.
it's like
Holy shit.
a real well not real life but like a life incarnation of like NPCs reacting to a video game character that's just running in circles and doing emotes when he's supposed to be following the other character into the next room.
I did not want to do whatever the task was in that dream. I spent the whole dream just casting spells at one tree, where eventually at the ending the tree was like, "Can you fuck off?"
It's so funny. And then you were like this. Wait, you ready? I'm about to blow it.
I apologize for nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. That's crazy. You guys use sound effects too. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually Bert's job. We call him Baby Boy Bert. He has this. He's so good at it. I can't do this thing worth a shit. Like that one just happened to be on the screen, and I was waiting for one of the things to pop up that might work. And this guy, he's scrolling through this thing and just hitting buttons left and right. And I don't know if you noticed in the podcast, it's just boom sound effect, boom sound effect.
I thought you were adding those in like after, like post
Nope,
production.
that's not post. That's live.
That's awesome, man. Because like, I really like. I need to figure out how, maybe I don't know if I want to add that in because it kind of throws off a conversation sometimes. Like if I'm just the host and some person's coming on talking about like making clogs or something, and next thing you know, it's like, "Bam!" or "Good news, everyone."
Yeah,
But
you're
then
just
it's like,
you're just mocking him with sound effects and spamming it with all of this shit.
so I'm like, but I remember we were talking about a song on like a music thing, and a person put like he was like, play this, and he started playing it into the microphone. I was listening to it. It was like European throat singing. He was telling me about this video he watched of like a woman going like a turkey with her mouth open, just screaming, and I'm like, whoa! And it was like 10 seconds into it just 10 seconds of it. Yo, my YouTube video got flagged, and the person put their copyright stuff in my video, and then they also did it on my Spotify and on the Facebook post I made for it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is it that bad? I'm like,
Damn.
honestly, screw it. I'll just start making up my own songs. You ever heard of what do you call it? Through the Fire and Flames? Well, I'm gonna say Through the Tire and Chains.
Yep.
I'll replace it that way.
The parody law. It's art. It's an art form. It's imitation. You know, this was actually an app we downloaded, so I'm assuming all of these sounds are I guess they're safe. I don't know. We haven't been messed with too much for any of it yet, so
Did you pay $2.99 for it?
I might have actually.
If you paid $2.99 for it, you're safe.
I might have. You know, I bought it because the Four Guys at Once is actually like the third time me and some friends have tried to do podcasting and stuff. And like the first time we did it, like we didn't have an RSS feed, and there wasn't like the platforms and stuff that you can use now that integrate and throw you on a bunch of platforms like Anchor. And so we were stuck on like some random, not even SoundCloud, because SoundCloud would only let us upload 4 episodes at a time. It was like Mixcloud or something.
Yeah.
And So that's what we were using before. And we were using the soundboard then too. But yeah, I don't know. So I bought it way back then, like years ago. So I don't remember if I paid for it or not.
What made you decide to buy podcast equipment and you start a podcast? Because like, were you like me? We're like, I need to do something. I have money and I'm spending it on dumb stuff. Like for me, I was on fucking Amazon and like Google wish list, all these other types of things. I bought like a shit ton of Bakugan just because I had them when I was kids and then someone sold them all. So I'm like, I want to recapture my childhood. I have like 8,000 Magic cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Pokemon cards sitting
You
in my
should see all the
garage.
pogs I have. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have any pogs.
Holy shit!
They all get wet.
I was looking at freaking Neopets, like the old school ones you get in the Happy Meals and shit. I'm like, I want to recollect my childhood. My family's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's not like you're an adult. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't get to play with this when I was a kid because you were an asshole and sold my shit at a yard sale for $5. So this is me recollecting my past so I can understand that life is shit. I want to go back to when I was a kid where I didn't have to worry about gas.
Right. Yeah. No, I think our whole generation like just tries to recollect that '90s vibe.
It's like that
before
cup that they have at like bowling alleys with a little scribble on like a white cup, and it's like everyone knows what that scribble is.
Or the laser beam background for photos. Remember school photos with the laser beam background?
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that.
Yep, that's something everyone remembers.
Ah, nostalgia is so much fun.
Nostalgia, isn't it?
That's why Disneyland is so awesome because they make it like nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. We have Cedar Point out by me. Have you ever been to Cedar Point?
I haven't been to an amusement park since Six Flags.
Oh, really? Okay.
That was when I was like 10.
Oh, wow. You don't like roller coasters?
Actually, that's not the reason why I haven't been, but I am deathly afraid of roller coasters. I've never been on one with a loop.
Okay.
I've seen
if
Final
it helps.
Destination too many times.
But see, then go based on that logic, you'll see it happen before you get on it. Unless you're one of his friends, then you're just fucked.
Look, if there's a person screaming, you need to get off this ride, everybody's going to die. I don't care what the fuck you're doing. If that's a line for a bathroom, I'm walking out of that line. I'll find the next bathroom.
You know why, though? Because we've seen Final Destination.
Still, though, if it's a crazy guy screaming on the street, I'm like, maybe I'll take the next train.
You guys go ahead. I'll walk.
Death doesn't destroy this thing. That guy's got a bomb to his chest, and I'm not getting on that train.
Yeah. You guys go. I'm gonna figure out how to put this whole interaction into 120 characters for my Twitter.
I'm gonna make a tweet about this. You guys have fun.
Retweet me if you don't die.
I see, just at their funeral, I see you didn't like my tweet.
Yeah, to his friends, to his family, like, hey. But yeah, it's funny because about 10 years ago, I actually went to, I don't know if you've ever heard of Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts.
No, but is this a story about somebody dying?
No, I was going back to why I got into podcasting.
Oh,
I did a loop back.
Segue.
And what'd you say? A segue.
It's not just something you ride on.
Right. Well, actually, all right, I'm getting sidetracked again, but I guess welcome to Four Guys at Once is just one of me, though. And
first of all, this is my show.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your toes.
About to be, damn it.
I immediately do it, no question. Who's starting the cult here?
People on Spotify are like, do you do it? Do you do
it? Yeah. Who's starting the cult here, me or you?
I mean, we can form one together.
I'm down for that. Oh man, I forgot where I was going with that now.
Something about how you started podcasting. You mentioned a School of Arts.
Oh yeah, I went to Specs Howard. Oh, the Segway, actually. That's what I was going to talk about. You know the guy who invented the Segway died on a Segway, right?
He went off a cliff.
Yep. I told all the boys that in one of the episodes. They didn't know. First, they didn't really believe me, I don't think. And I was like, no, I'm dead serious, man.
It's the same. They give the same shit to the guy who created the Atkins diet.
He died from his... What did he die of?
Everyone's like, he died because, well, what happened was he slipped on ice and he hit his head and cracked his head open and died. And people are like, well, it's because he wasn't nutritioned enough. He was off balance. I'm like, you guys are fucking nuts. Like,
it's all people from like Brazil who've never had ice. They have no idea how to deal with it. They're like, oh, that couldn't happen.
The Canadians are like, we understand.
Yeah. Canadians are like, no foul play here.
That's the first interaction I've ever had with black ice. Let me tell you something. I was making fun of that for the longest time, and then my car skidded on black ice before, and I was like, "Oh, this is how people die. I get it now. I get it." It's like when you see somebody
Yep.
out like who's like went to a domestic call, like when Cops was actually still a show. There's like a domestic disturbances call, and a dude on his lawn with his hands behind his back like this, like hands on his head, like already ready for the cops to book him. They're like, "Oh my gosh, she's dead inside." And he's like, "Yep, I did it. Take me away." And I'm like, I get it because I've seen how crazy a woman could be. And I'm like, I can understand where that guy was coming from. He's like, I've had enough. I've had enough.
It's like, that's it. um, yeah, no, I get it. Sometimes like, oh man.
Don't admit to murder on this thing, but
And no, wait, turn off the recording really quick. No, I'm just kidding.
let me tell you about the Zodiac killer. Click.
Yeah.
That's
Plot
Biden,
twist.
dude. Wait till the next thing he talks about. He's gonna be like, well, back when and he's gonna name off a thing. It's like, wait a minute, somebody tracked that. That's when the Zodiac killer was killing people in that area. It's like we just
Right.
found out Biden is now
No, Trump said that Ted Cruz was a Zodiac killer. Remember? Oh, his dad wasn't that it? He said something about Ted Cruz about his dad being the Zodiac killer.
I question what's his name, Ben Carson, Ben. Oh my God,
Yeah, Dr.
the
Ben Carson.
the famous neurosurgeon, and he's a flat earther. I'm like,
Oh
yo,
my God.
did you just lose your medical card or your medical certificate? Because the factor of I don't want anybody performing brain surgery on me if you don't believe that the Earth is in a circle.
Oh, dude, when he was on the debate stage with everyone and they were all doing their opening statements, and he took his 1 minute to do a moment of silence for I forget even who it was who died, but all the memes going around, they're like, yeah, he just fell asleep. That's what happened. Ben Carson just fell asleep up on the stage.
You have to admit that's the greatest thing if you have nothing prepared to say. You're just not ready. Like I want a moment of silence. Everybody
Right,
understands. Nobody's going to question.
right. Just like, well, yeah, like, what do? Do you interrupt him? You're gonna be that jackass that interrupts someone for a moment of silence?
I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big political guy, but when I would see Trump make those remarks, make those names, I'm like, somebody's just got to give it back to him. Everybody's being like okay with it and you're letting them get away with it. Like, if I was the moderator to that thing, I'm like, can you just shut up for 5 seconds and let someone else talk for a minute? I want to make sure that I'm not going to die when who I elect somebody.
Right. Hey, let's talk about policies. That's a crazy idea, right? Let's.
Hey, the Earth, we haven't put out a polar bear commercial in a long fucking time. Are those things still around? Let's talk about that.
Are they still around? Or are they just hard to see because the snow's white and they're white?
I'm pretty sure they're probably gone. But then I also saw a meme of a polar bear covered in like blood where it had ripped open a seal. And I'm like, maybe that's not a bad thing.
Okay, well, see, you saw that one because he was red, not white. Where all the other ones are white around snow.
I think they're more like a cream.
A cream color.
That's
And it
like when
actually isn't it?
that's when you go to Walmart and the guy's like, "What type of paint are you looking for?" Or Home Depot. It's
Polar
like,
bear!
I want to color. Well, this is a beige, and we also have a teal. What the fuck's teal? It's like a cross between a green and a blue. It's like, well, what is this one? That's Rose Frichet. What the? Is this like Crayola, where the guy's got the 64 pack and you just want to take all his crayons from him because he's got the off brands?
Right. The yeah, that like the Duplos, or not the Duplos, what's that one? Mega Black. The Mega Black of Legos.
Oh God, why can't we? Everything's got to be in a classification. Got to be. That's why cryptozoology is never going to fail because there's always new species being discovered every single day. Like this is a mosquito, but it's different than the other one because this one has 3 lines on its wings instead of 2, and it's like,
That
or
argument only solidifies Bigfoot existing.
that's true.
We discovered, wasn't it right now that like more species are extincting at the same rate as like species we're discovering or something like that?
I wouldn't doubt it. Do you see fireflies anymore?
Actually, yeah. There's a shit ton out here in Michigan. I don't know if it was just a good season this year or not, but like I know we saw quite a bit of them.
I haven't seen a single one. I actually saw a dragonfly the other day. I'm like, wow. And then it legit got hit by a car. And I was like, fuck.
Just This moment of beauty just smashed right in front of you. It's like, oh, this is great. Bam.
I had that happen. Like you hear people talk about like religious moments. Like I had a month where like my life was just in the shitter, and then I was like, I saw a butterfly just get missed by a car, and I was like, wow, that's all of us just floating through life, just getting just missed by that car, and it was like this come to God moment. And then I was driving a little bit longer, and I was like, wait a minute, if that butterfly would have got hit by the car, I would have had a different reaction. I'd be like, life is shit, life sucks. I'm like, I'll get over it, and then I forgot about it.
It's all a roll of the dice, man. When you're in the line at the drive-through, you have just as much chance of someone doing a pay it forward in front of you as there is someone rear-ending you because they're texting.
That is great, dude. You need to put that on a T-shirt.
I'm gonna put that on a bumper sticker.
That's a fortune cookie I want to get. I'm tired of the one that's telling me they're trapped in a fortune cookie making factory.
Then why do they keep giving me the numbers 1313?
I'm not fucking sending help.
You didn't even give me a number to send help to.
Your winning numbers are 47, 36, 22. Turn it over. You get your fortune. I don't care about that.
It's just 911, 911, send help.
Oh my God. People don't even know the true meaning of what a fortune cookie is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a palate cleanser.
You're right. That's why they give it to you when you eat, not afterwards.
They're supposed to give it in between, like when you're eating, so you can clear it before the next meal. But nope, now you grab one and ask for one afterwards. Like, hang on a second, that's not how this works. But they just want you out of there. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
They always have a fish tank that's like never been cleaned.
Here, take this cookie and get out and cleanse your palate because you obviously didn't like the food.
That's the only business that they can yell at you and you will still buy their stuff.
Yeah.
There's
right.
You want to talk about a cult. So my Chinese restaurant in my, like, not even like maybe 5 minutes away is next to our Food Lion. Well, next to the Food Lion, it goes laundromat, Chinese restaurant, liquor store. They're all run by the same business. Not the Food Lion, but the three: the liquor store, the laundromat, and the Chinese restaurant. I walked in. My cousin went to the laundromat. I went into the Chinese restaurant, and I was like, I'm gonna put an order in. So, woman, I see her. I give her an order. She's like, 5 minutes. I was like, okay. So I walked out, went over to the laundromat. Nobody's at the counter. I'm waiting for my cousin. He's like, yeah, I've been waiting for like 10 minutes, man. I'm like, dude, okay. I was only gone for like a minute and a half, so that's not true. I see the same woman walk over and come to the laundromat, from the back. So it looked like she walked up to the counter, and I was like, I just saw her at the Chinese restaurant. My cousin goes, dude, you're being racist. I was like, no, I swear to God. And I'm like, I didn't want to ask because imagine how off that would be. Like, I don't want to get like yelled at or screamed at or get the cops call me for some like justice crime. So I'm like, and she goes, yeah, your order will be ready soon. I'm like, you were at the Chinese restaurant. She goes, yeah, we own the whole thing. This place, the Chinese restaurant, and then the liquor store. And I'm like, no fucking way. There's just an open wall in the back, like Dead Rising when you're running through the mall and you're able to go through all the other places. That's how it was with them. It stopped at Food Lion. I was like, yo, how long until you guys own Food Lion? And she's like, we're working on it. I'm like, oh.
And she winks. Come to find out, the guy who owned the food mart's the one that slipped on the black ice. He had an accident. Segue right off the cliff.
Accident.
Yeah. But yeah, so a little while back, I went to school for broadcast arts.
Back to the podcast. All right, cool.
Back to the podcast.
Thank God.
I try so hard to stay on task, and it's the hardest goddamn thing. So imagine when there's four of us. That's why we have this big whiteboard over here, just behind the screen that has like all the topics we're gonna try to hit.
That's
when
the
we're doing
entertaining,
this.
fun thing about it, though. So many stuff is scripted in life, and sometimes the easiest ones are the ones that aren't, and that's conversation.
Exactly. You want it to be organic.
Yeah, you just want.
You don't want to sound like an NPR.
You really got me thinking I should have wore like my tiger dress shirt. I have a shirt that's like has a giant tiger on the front.
Oh yeah. Oh, you like this? You like the Hawaiian shirt?
It's really nice.
It's a little part of my persona on the show. I try to. It's a joke between me and my cousin because my dad, he always wears Hawaiian shirts, so we call it the Uncle Denny drip. And so we always try to wear like Hawaiian shirts and stuff.
That should.
It's like we're bringing it back.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, those are the most comfortable shirts I've ever been in. That fabric, I don't know, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's a cold fabric. Like you put that on, it's always cold for some reason.
Exactly. It breathes nice.
Yeah.
get the good nice little breeze through, you know.
I never
And I look like
understood.
I'm having a great time, right? I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here and I look like I'm having a great
You're
time.
always on vacation.
But yes, I went to Specs Howard, School of Broadcast Arts, and it was I went for radio, and then you know, went there, graduated from there, and then had a couple like different opportunities for internships, but they were out of town, and I was dating a girl at the time who I thought was the love of my life. Turned out not to be. And then the internship stuff kind of dried up, and then I took a couple cracks at a couple of different podcasts, like I was saying before, but didn't have like the RSS feed and the stuff to get it going. But now that I'm older, I kind of like doubled down and I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. You know, like we're making this happen. So got a couple of friends together that'd be interested. You know, people I thought that'd be interesting and have something to say. Because that's ultimately, I feel like, what the podcast is about. It's about like I like to talk. You know, I like to talk to people and have conversations. You know, it's like you said, it's a part of life. It's fun to do. I like to learn things. I like to hear things. And so the four of us get together every 2 weeks and we talk about like what we've seen and things we've done over the past 2 weeks. We try to talk about like interesting things, and then we most of all it's just about having fun.
Yeah.
And we have fun when we do it, and we know that we can bring that fun to other people.
Yeah, you caught me off guard when you messaged like, "Yeah, you want me on?" I was like, "What? Yeah, why not?"
I know. Yeah, you're like, we do it one on one. I was like, well, there's four of us.
Yeah. I was like, I'll talk to all of you, just not at once. You know, there's four guys in a room is okay. After I've talked to you all individually, I know where to go. But it's like when I reached out, I was like, you were like surprised that I was reaching out to you. I was like, why the hell not? But I guess that's
Yep.
what, even with Instagram, it's like when you see somebody's following huge or something, and you see somebody reach out, it's like, no, we're all at the same fucking level. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Everybody's, we're all learning. It's a new. Next thing you know, it'll be fucking like who's the TikTok star. That's what I'm saying. It's like
Yep.
there's always something new coming out. You don't know how long this is gonna last. Next thing you know, it's onto a whole nother thing. Everybody's just taking pictures of their butthole and putting it up on the internet.
There's probably a Reddit for that already.
I know what I'm googling later.
Just add that to the spank bank. And...
Right after Mariah Carey, lots of pictures of Mariah Carey.
I got introduced to Reddit. I shit you not. Like, because I used to back when I worked at a brewery, I was helping make some beers and stuff like that. And a guy there goes, "You use Reddit?" And I was like, "No, I don't use Reddit." And he goes, "Oh, you gotta use Reddit." I was like, "Why?" And he looked at me and then looked at three of the other guys, and they all busted out laughing. And he goes, "Butt Sharpies." I was like, "What?" I was, "Oh yeah, subreddit, butt Sharpies." He goes, "I'm not gonna tell you anything else about it." So obviously I joined Reddit, and then when I went to go look up butt Sharpies, I had to wait till I got home to make my Reddit a non-restricted Reddit, and I was like, okay, this makes sense.
What? Now I'm really curious to look it up. Do you have your phone on you right now?
I do.
Okay, I want you to Google something for me.
Okay.
This gave me the best laugh in an episode. Google who invented the sex doll.
Who invented the sex doll?
Wait for it.
Am I looking for images?
No.
Oh, the claim is Adolf Hitler. Wait.
I saw that. I was like, no freaking way.
They were blowing everything up back then. I mean, they were like, I guess
Legit
double
blowing
entendre.
everything. Yeah.
But you know what? Another crazy thing about like inflatable stuff. You know that General MacArthur back then, they fucked up like Hitler because they made him divert a whole army based on a fake inflatable army.
They used a thing called dummy tanks as well.
Yep, dummy
which-
tanks. They would get underneath them and move them around,
my God.
and it fucking worked. It would never work now because satellite imagery is too good. But
That's the
yeah.
thing. It's the look. There's also like in Pittsburgh, why they're known as like steelworking towns, is because of the weather climate there. What they used to do during war times is they used to build because they would think like, oh, they're gonna watch us from space, so they couldn't see through the clouds of these heavily inclined weather places. So that's where we built our factories in case there was a bombing or a war, they wouldn't be able to destroy our resources.
My dad tells me my dad was born in '46, so during World War I in Michigan, because
Fuck,
it was
your dad's old.
Yeah, he's an old man. I'm about to have him on the podcast. He grew up in a whole like do you know who Hunter S. Thompson is?
Yeah.
He's like literally a Hunter S. Thompson, but didn't like write everything down. Like his stories are fucking wild. Like, oh yeah, 3 years in the 60s and 70s, I just lived in the Keys as a beach bum, and it's like what? You know, and
R.S.
then he was in the
Thompson's
Navy.
like daily routine is like my daily routine, but without all the cocaine and all that stuff. Replace that with like energy drinks and coffee.
It's
It's like
still a drug technically.
1 a.m. energy drink, 1:20 a.m. another energy drink, 1:40 a.m. pot of coffee, 1:50. And it's like all this like
Yeah,
every hour.
yeah, it sounds like you actually work the exact opposite schedule than me.
I legit just drink it for the taste. I don't think it gives. I can go to sleep right after a coffee.
Okay. I do like me some coffee. I like what's my one? I like stuff with caramel, like a caramel macchiato.
Oh, you're a star. I used to tear up a Java
No, I
chip.
just buy the creamer. I'm a
Yes, that's
Tim.
what I do. I go to like Ross or Home Goods and get like the coffee syrup to put in your coffee. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, I'm a Timmy Hose guy. It's cheaper. Simple black coffee, triple.
that's good. I used to do Java chip at Starbucks, and then I realized how many calories were in it. I would always get a venti because you're never going small. It's 1,500 something calories in a Java chip. I'm like, what the fuck are you putting in there? And I noticed it's a little legit like half a bag of chocolate chips that you use for baking in the Java chip.
It's just like the Captain Crunch. Whoops, all berries. Just whoops. Here's a cup of chocolate chips.
It's like when Oreos, they invented just the cream, no cooking. It's like we cut out the middleman. I'm like, you guys are terrible people.
Just plates of just cream. Oh, that's
Really
funny.
really make the people feel bad. I mean, that's what you want anyway. If you eat the solid cookie, it's like, it's like eating the veggies before the actual meal.
Right. So I listened to a couple episodes of your podcast, and this is actually pretty spot on to what we're doing here, though. I really like it. You know, like you said when you told me in the messaging, it's like a less famous. I'm not going to use the word that you used. I'm going to say less famous Joe Rogan podcast.
You don't like the low grade?
Low grade ain't low grade. It's still great conversation.
I feel like this thing's holding up just by rubber bands.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I see a screen pop there. What kind of microphone you got?
This is, I don't know. My cousin got it off Amazon. He's like, I think, because I was doing the first 90 in person, so I had a little Zoom recorder. But he was like, I want you to be able to have a setup so you can get a film studio, much like how you do with yours, where it's all your buddies in a room and stuff. That's what I was going to do. And then eventually I met someone through like a podcast help group on Facebook, and he was like, hey, man, let me show you how Zoom works. And then I've been doing it ever since, and give him all the credit. That's probably one of my favorite shows to be on. It's called the Anything Goes Project. He's
Okay.
really interviewish. I'm more like, I don't like the word interview because it makes me sound like a corporate hooker. I like
Right.
conversation because I want you to feel like, hey, like I'm not just going to be asked questions the whole time. Let's just talk about life. Let's talk about buttholes. Let's talk about Mariah Carey. I don't care. Let's just talk.
Yeah, we talk about all of that on the show. There's actually a concerning amount, and I think that's why I added the bisexual thing. A concerning amount of butthole talk. Everyone's talking about butts. It's always going to butts. I don't understand why. I guess buttholes are funny.
It's something you should clean every single day.
You're right. It's true.
And we wipe it every single day.
You gotta wipe your butt every day.
Back to front, my friend. Back to front.
Back to front. Unless you're a girl.
I always say that because that's how you tell if how someone wipes their butt. I said that in a podcast. I was like, wipe front to back, and then someone just looked at me like, "What the fuck did you just say?" I was like, "I got you. I know how you wipe now."
I know. Like we used to. One thing. It's tougher to have like guests on the show when there's four of us. We need to get way more like, I guess, organized. And like my cousin Michael is actually the best at it now. He just raises his hand when he wants to talk, so we don't all stomp over each other.
What's your question?
Right.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Yep. Can you or may you?
That's like when I was in college and the teacher was like, "Just fucking go." Like, what are you doing to me? Don't
Right.
interrupt me.
And you're just like, you kind of do this thing where you're like, you sure?
You didn't give me a hall pass or permission.
But yeah, we typically we used to on our old podcast that we did before this one was we'd have a guest on. We just call him the average American hero, and every single episode we'd have just a guest or whatever, and just talk to him, and we'd ask silly questions like, so, do you fold or wad your toilet paper? I feel like you could tell a lot about a person, whether or not they fold or wire the toilet paper.
I question if you don't do what I do and you wrap the toilet paper around your hand like an oven mitt and then go for a wipe. Because some people I know that just take one little square, rip it off, and then fold it a couple times and do it that way. I'm like, dude, no, because that just gives the possibility of getting shit on my hand.
Yeah. Yep. You don't want poop fingers.
But everyone's like, then I think you have a problem with your poop. And I was like, that's how I discovered Reddit. I sent a picture of poop to my buddy and he put it up on Reddit and some dude commented saying that's stomach cancer.
The Reddit WebMD.
And it's funny because I showed my doctor and he's like, that was inside you? I'm like, yeah. He goes, dude, that's a serious health issue. I was like, what is it? And that's what we're trying to find out for a year now. I might be low-key dying.
Well, I hope not. I hope that we can do this again a couple times throughout the years. I hope that
I got
you're
my
not going
tarot
out.
cards read, and the one thing I told him, I was like, please, for the love of God, give me the death card. He goes, you want the death card? I'm like, why? He goes, that's an end to your problems. I'm like, I just want to jump headfirst into a wood chipper knowing that there's no way of bringing me back.
Or leg first, depending on how you're feeling that day.
Yeah, I don't know. I like my feet.
That's actually, you know what? You might have given me a really good idea. My
Don't
wife
jump
does.
into a wood chipper.
Nope, the tarot cards. My wife does tarot cards and stuff. I might have her come on here and do everyone's reading on the
She
show.
was describing my wife or my future wife, and I was like, and that was today's episode. So by the time this comes out, it's probably a little bit later. But he was describing my wife, and then he said European accent, and I was like, Irish accent? He goes, no. I was like, damn.
Son of a
starts
bitch.
describing a woman, and I'm like, my mom? And then he goes, no. He goes, but you end up breaking up with her. I'm like, what do you mean? She sounds like the perfect girl. You were describing somebody that was like perfect, saying it's love of my life. And you're saying now it's over? He goes, yeah, you find out she's a white supremacist. I'm like, that'll do it. That'll
Yep.
do it.
There's a couple things that'll do it.
That's the fucking line crosser right there.
God, isn't that a trip that's actually a thing again? I mean, I guess it was always a thing. It might have been something that you or me,
What,
based
white
on
supremacy or tarot cards?
white supremacy.
Dude, honestly, I think it's more hype because I'm like, if anybody really believes that, they're a fucking idiot. I'm just saying. I mean,
The tarots or the white supremacy?
no comment. No.
Both. It's applicable.
The factor of like the people that talk about like how big of an issue that is. I'm like, I don't think it's that big of an issue.
Well, it's not for us.
I'm about to say, I haven't come across anybody that has actually been like that or thinks that 100%. I think most of the world understands that we're all people and no matter the color of your skin.
You're right. And I think that a lot of the world, I don't think we would have made it this far. I think there was a huge conscious shift starting with the bombs, the nuclear, like, you know, if you want to go back to like huge moments in human history that were a like a sort of an awakening thing, you know. And I think that dropping the nuclear bomb was one of them.
I'm not saying war's good, but I'm saying it keeps our attention off of each other. It keeps our attention on a bigger enemy. It seems like whenever we get a terroristic attack or coronavirus, we're all like, holy crap, we need to put our differences aside and try and handle this situation.
You ever read 1984? George Orwell? Oh, you haven't read George Orwell's 1984? They're always at war. That's one of the things. They always have a common enemy.
Damn, that sounds like something I gotta read.
Oh, it's a good book. I went down a whole rabbit hole. I read 1984. I read A Brave New World. Read Animal Farm. And then
Fuck
Fahrenheit.
Animal Farm.
Yeah, I know. That one is definitely for kids.
That one and Lord of the Flies pissed me off.
I never read Lord of the Flies. Is that a good one?
It's like a
Obviously not. It pissed you off.
It's a bunch of kids trapped in an island. Yeah, but I get pissed off at really dumb stuff. Like I looked it up. It takes 7 days if you're trapped on an island with somebody to decide to eat them, to get hungry enough to the point where you want to eat them.
Donner, a party of 4.
None of the moment in the book, none of these kids were like, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna eat this kid. I'm gonna kill this kid. It was all like, we gotta be rational with our decisions. I'm like, bro, you've been on this island for a month and a half. At one point, somebody's got to be thinking about taking a coconut and bashing somebody upside the head with it.
And then yelling, he fell, look.
Yeah.
But are we going to waste him or what?
He was on the Atkins diet.
You know, you're right, though, because in real life, when you look up like stories of cannibalism and stuff and look up the Donner Party on the Oregon Trail, you don't learn about that on the Oregon Trail, in the game at least.
I will give you something you can look up, and you will probably do a topic on it for your podcast. Look up Death by Coconut.
Oh, isn't it like 13 deaths a year or something?
There's a fucking large amount. There's like resorts that had to take out palm trees because there's just multiple accounts of palm or coconuts falling and killing babies in their stroller. I'm like, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, God.
Like
Yeah,
I
I can
literally,
hear you now.
I, I went to
It froze for a
Hawaii
second.
and there was a giant sign that had people running, like the pedestrians, but they were running and coconuts were flying at them. And I'm like, yo, this is a legit thing. Like, and then the worst account I read, because I did an episode on it, I used to do a spinoff of this that focused on like specific topics. A dude was laying in a beach chair. You know, the metal of the beach chair was like on the back of his neck, like had his neck resting on it, like up like that. And
Oh,
a
no.
coconut hit him right in the head. They fall like at like 60 miles an hour, and the weight of one can be up to like 5 to 8 pounds. Yo, his neck snapped all the way off the back of the freaking metal chair. Like his neck cracked all the way down, like in a movie. And I'm like, yo, imagine you're eating a fucking sandwich on the beach and not even getting sand in your sandwich, which sucks ass, but getting a freaking coconut to the head, and that's how you go out.
Like you're sitting there worrying about like stepping on stingrays, or like sharks in the water. The last, or even a crazy tsunami. The last thing you're thinking, not a tsunami. The what's the big wave that comes? The tidal wave. Not even a tidal wave. What's the wave that is caused by a earthquake?
Tsunami?
Is that a tsunami? I thought a tsunami was a rainfall.
I'm pretty sure tsunami is the one that gets caused by an earthquake.
You might be right. I might
That's
have
why
been
all
right
the
in the first
people
place.
that go tsunami.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I tripped myself up. But yeah, so you're thinking about all that stuff, and then as you're thinking about it, just bam, coconut. Just boom. That's it.
It's like the guy in Pompeii that made it out of the volcanic thing, but then he was crushed by a giant boulder. Did you ever see that?
No, but oh, that
It's
sucks.
the saddest fucking thing that you survived this deadly ass volcanic explosion, and then one of the explosion from the volcano had like a giant chunk of marble rock that just fucking crushed you. Like his legs are out of like hanging in the air, and his whole like waist up is just smashed into a hole into the ground. Of like, imagine you're running like I freaking made it, and a rock just hits you in the back of the head and crushes
You
you
just
into the
stop to
ground.
take that quick breather, just
And the
you
funny thing
look
is,
back. Oh, fuck.
if you look at the photo, the volcanic ash like turned him into like a statue. Like all those people that got hit with it like turned into like statues. His whole body is cemented in that ash. So it's just like a perfect thing of how imagine the people that were like masturbating during Pompeii. You were
Could you? Oh,
stuck
gee,
in
yep.
that, like, oh guys, how everyone's gonna see me forever.
It was the original dying with a dirty website history.
Yeah, clear my browser history.
Yeah, clear my browser history when I die.
I'm not sad about it. I'm just Googling 4 guys 1 pod.
And 4 guys at once.
But you should call it 4 guys 1 pod.
Well, fuck, man. We already made the Instagram. We made the Twitter. I don't know if I can go back and change it now.
Fine, 4 guys 1 pod.
We're stuck with it. Can you handle that's because that's the tagline. Can you handle 4 guys at once?
I don't think anybody can handle 4 guys 1 pod.
I don't know. I'm sure if we Googled it real quick, we'd find out that some people can.
Find out real quick. Well, they always seem happy going into it, but then afterwards they seem like they're really fucking distraught.
The mascara's all runny. They look like they just got done watching Titanic.
For it. Well, what'd you think you were signing up for? You only gave me $300.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's funny. There's a girl that went to my high school who, out of the blue, all of a sudden she posted on Facebook, "I'm doing porn now," and everyone's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And it was straight. It wasn't like, how like usually there's a progression where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do an OnlyFans, take a couple selfies, and then they progress into like dirty stuff. Usually as time wears on, straight to just vomit shit. And I was like, what the hell?
I'm not mad at that because I said by the time I was 26, I would get into porn because my doctor tried to get me into porn at 19 and it didn't
Your
work.
doctor did?
Yeah, it's a very dark story, but I turned it into a joke. He was like, "You ever do porn?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Would you like to?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'm involved in that industry and you have a pretty good body. I'm just saying, if you want the hookup, I know some people." I'm like, "Not now, but if I don't
then he
become
goes-
anything by 26, I'm more
He goes,
than
by
happy."
the way, doctor-patient confidentiality goes both ways.
He didn't say that shit at all.
He goes, HIPAA law restricts you from also talking about our conversation.
It's like unspoken rules of the road. doctor anymore. I chose him because he had soft hands, but now I'm regretting that decision.
Now it makes sense.
Look, Corey, I got to get out of here, man. But
Absolutely.
please,
I guess I'll
promote the show, brother. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We're on Four Guys at Once. We're on all your social media platforms. We're on all of your like where you'd find your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Play,
You said apple pie.
Apple Pie. I'm a little hungry.
That's the worst fucking pie.
You don't like apple? Honestly, I don't really like any pie.
I didn't have pie until I was like in my 20s, and pumpkin's pretty fucking good.
I like the crust.
If
Too
you
much pumpkin.
if you really cook the crust, I really enjoy that, like a nice burnt crust.
Yeah. Nice, make it nice and crispy. Add a little bit of
I'm
whipped
hungry
cream.
now.
Have to pick up some food on the way. But yeah, Four Guys at Once. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on about 6 or 7 of the random ones too that I don't have a list of right now. But like I think Podbean,
Stitcher, Castbox.
Stitcher, Castbox. Yep, we're on most of those. Yeah, come and check us out. We usually do live shows. We're bi-weekly. We'll do live shows on Facebook, and we encourage everyone to come on and get involved and comment in the thread and everything like that. I'll let you know next time around too if you're not recording. And come on, talk shit to these guys, piss them off, troll them. I want you to troll the shit out of these guys next time we're live streaming. How's that sound?
Can I wear my Jewish sweater?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Is it the Seth Rogen one?
Yes, it is exactly that one. I have that. My buddy, we do a Christmas tradition every year where we always buy each other like something to add on to our tradition. We always get like Chinese food the night before or something. But he bought me that sweatshirt, and we always see a Seth Rogen movie every time around that time. And he bought me that. I bought him another one. Then he bought me like a Jewish hat and stuff. It's gotten a little too far where it's like, how far till this is an actual issue?
Right. I always try to actually get my friends, like for gag gifts for like Christmas and stuff, like Jewish things. 'Cause I think it's funny because they celebrate Hanukkah. They don't celebrate like a menorah.
Yeah.
A Christmas gift is a menorah. It's like the biggest irony. It's like, wait,
Ash Wednesday.
just a little cup of just ash. It's like I made this myself.
It's
But
the
yeah.
thought that counts. Bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah, but if you want, I can talk to some of the guys if you want, see if you can handle more of the Four Guys at Once. Some of them might come on here.
Like I said, I can handle one at a time, just not at once. At least
One
not
at a
yet.
time.
Work me up to it. It's like buy me dinner first.
We'll send you some DoorDash.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank Podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode.